Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. If you use the Torres SeatGeek promo to go to games in Providence, you got yourself a doozy of 4 different games. High Point Purdue was okay, but McNeese pulls the upset. We'll get to that in a minute. And then, to be honest, I thought the 7 o'clock Eastern time start, 7-seeded Kansas, 10th-seeded Arkansas was the game of the day. Back and forth, a lot of different emotions for both sides. Arkansas gets the win, 79-72. Is it too early to pull out the big invasion? Arkansas survives. Listen, I don't think it was the best performance that they have ever had, but they advance, they survive in what was just a wild game. First off, listen, the ebbs and flows of this game were unbelievable, okay? First of all, crazy game back and forth. Awesome game to start the first half. You know, I thought the whistles were a little bit one-sided in the first half, but Arkansas jumps out to a 47-42 lead. Jonas Adu in the first half was just absolutely unreal. I think he had about 16 points in the first half, comes out immediately, gets 2 buckets in the second half. Arkansas at one point takes the 55-44 11-point lead early in the second half. You wonder, oh my goodness, is this team going to run away with this game? Is John Calipari going to get the big signature NCAA tournament win that he has largely been lacking? But listen, Bill Self, they don't hand out Hall of Fame plaques for nothing, okay? And Bill Self, it's been a disappointing year. We're going to talk about the Kansas loss in a second. But to his credit, you know, the stat they threw out throughout the game, Kansas had played a total of 7 possessions of zone the entire season and decided to go zone midway through the second half. It flusters Arkansas. You could tell they were frustrated. You could tell they weren't prepared. John Calipari said it after the game. They fall down by, I believe, as many as 3. KJ Adams gets injured. By the way, Arkansas fans, you want to know what the good luck charm was? My dog got home from daycare when Arkansas was down 3. She watched the final couple minutes with me. So Arkansas fans, if you want to send my little princess some extra treats or something, send it to her, because they were down 77-74. She came home. She sat with me, watched the last few minutes of the game. Arkansas rallies. Arkansas wins. And even when they rallied, it wasn't easy. Boogie Fland, of course, could not get the ball in 2 times in a row. You burn the last 2 timeouts. But listen, nobody's going to remember 3 hours from now, 5 hours from now, 10 hours from now how it happened. All that people are going to remember is that Arkansas beats the team that was preseason number 1, beats Bill Self, advances to the second round of the NCAA tournament. By the way, in a little bit of an irony, I guess you would say, 2 of the last 3 years, Bill Self and Kansas have been eliminated by Arkansas. In 23, they got eliminated. Bill Self, unfortunately, had a very serious heart condition. You know, we think he may have had a minor heart attack before the tournament. He didn't coach in 23, but he was on the sidelines on Thursday night. Arkansas finds a way to get the win. Listen, there are some negatives about Arkansas, and they were on full display, right? You don't need me to go through. The zone offense certainly needs work. I'm not excusing it. I'm not forgiving the fact that for about, 8-10 minutes of game time, it just felt like Arkansas did not know what they were doing. But let's also call a spade a spade. In the big moments when they needed big plays, they got them, okay? First of all, I mentioned Jonas Adu, 22 points. He really carried them in the first half. He kind of cooked Hunter Dickinson. We're going to get to Hunter Dickinson in a minute, but that dude kind of cooked him. DJ Wagner, who took as much scorn as maybe anyone that I have ever seen in college basketball, and I think they sort of kind of addressed it on the broadcast. Like, DJ Wagner took a lot of heat from his previous fan base last year, plays all 40 minutes, does not come out for 1 second of game action, and he is phenomenal in this game. I thought the big thing for him, really did a good job of taking care of the basketball. 6 assists, 2 turnovers. Listen, let me say this. I know he couldn't get the ball inbounds, but I was one of those guys. Listen, maybe it's a casual from me. Maybe it was ignorant of me to think this, But I was kind of one of those guys. Do you want to bring back Boogie Fland? The team has been playing so well. Do you want to mess with the chemistry? Well, guess what? Clearly, Big Z is nursing some kind of injury, and you kind of needed Boogie Fland. 24 minutes. Listen, he wasn't great, but 3 steals, a couple big buckets late. I thought he gave them really, really good minutes. And what I really actually liked about it, I'll be perfectly honest, what I really liked about Boogie Fland was that they kind of played him off the ball. They said, we've been awesome with DJ Wagner as our point guard. We weren't as good with Boogie Fland. And even though Boogie Fland was on pace to set, I think, an Arkansas freshman record for assists, keep the ball in DJ Wagner's hands. Let him run the offense. Boogie Fland is going to play off the ball. So Jonas Aidoo was awesome. DJ Wagner was awesome. Boogie Fland made plays. Janelle Davis, listen, I know he had that kind of boneheaded play that Cal got really frustrated by, but you talk about a guy making plays late, hit a couple big threes, had a couple big steals. He had the big play that Cal went crazy over, but had a couple free throws late. And I'll tell you this, I think Trevin Brazile is officially the X factor for this team. I think we might have talked about it on the show. I know I was talking to producer Matt, an Auburn fan, off air about this, but Trevin Brazile is crazy. 11 points, 12 rebounds, 2 boards. By the way, remember, he was out for most of the first half, and it is crazy to me. And I said this, I think I said this to producer Matt. I don't know if I said this on air, but the SEC, Jimmy Dykes always says, the SEC is the second most athletic league on the planet, behind only the NBA. Trevin Brazile, I know this isn't an SEC game, but it's like that dude is another level to even the dudes in the SEC. You talk about the big plays, 2 late in the game, offensive rebounds and putbacks. Hunter Dickinson was stuck in quicksand, so Arkansas gets the win. And so to me, an awesome night for the Razorbacks. Doesn't matter how you won, just that you got that victory. And I'll be real, to me, I said it on Sunday's show. I got made fun of. I think Arkansas can give St. John's some fits. Okay, so St. John's gets the win. We're gonna get back to Kansas in a minute. For anybody that wants some good old fashioned Kansas hate, we'll get back to that in a minute. But from the Arkansas St. John's perspective, listen. First of all, St. John's starts off slow. They did it again tonight. They do get the 30-point win over Omaha. Kind of crazy. They were up 5 at the half. They outscore them by 25. They wear you down. This is who St. John's is. And I haven't seen a point spread yet. We might get it by the end of this game, by the end of this show. Rick Pitino said, quote, St. John's is going to see a team the likes of which we haven't seen all year from a size and athleticism standpoint, okay? And so, listen, I don't know that we yes, by the way, people in the chat are saying trash internet. Listen, I actually knocked out my own internet, so shame on me. But let's get back to the game itself. By the way, it appears as though Michigan has won. But let's get back to Arkansas St. John's really quick, okay? Because when I look at this Arkansas St. John's game, what I see is exactly what Rick Pitino said. Rick Pitino just said at his press conference after St. John's 30-point win over Omaha, they are a team with size and athleticism, the likes of which we've never seen. And so I go back to what I said on the Sunday bracket reaction show. Bottom line to me is pretty straightforward. I think this is a team listen, I think when you win the Big East regular season, when you win the Big East tournament, you don't fear anybody. But when you look at St. John's, they're very big in the backcourt, but in the front court, they're not really that big. Zuby Ejiofor, who I love, Zuby Ejiofor, who got forced out at Kansas to bring in Hunter Dickinson. I wonder if Bill Self wishes he had that guy back. Zuby Ejiofor is like a 6'8", 6'9" center. And so when I look at Kansas, when I look at St. John's, what I see is a team that's super athletic. But listen, couple things. They don't shoot the 3 ball well. We know that. They don't defend, or they defend at an elite level. They don't shoot free throws very well. And I had a couple Arkansas fans asking me, basically the bottom line is that the way that they play, the way that they win games, they are just going to beat you up and wear you down over the course of a game. The thing is, though, what they do, like schematically, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say like Rick Pitino isn't a freaking genius. I made the argument on this channel that I think Rick Pitino, you could argue, is the GOAT, the greatest coach to ever coach college basketball, even though he'll never have the stats of Coach K, John Wooden, whoever. But at the same time, what they just want to do defensively is get into your jersey, beat you up, and get physical. And I just look at how St. John's plays, and I just think that as good as they are, as physical as they are, the teams that they have success against are actually teams in the Big East, like a UConn, like a Creighton, who want to run a bunch of complex offense and do a bunch of back screens and this, that, the other. Reason I bring it up, what does Arkansas want to do offensively? What does Coach Cal get criticized for? Oh, he doesn't have a quote-unquote modern offense, okay? Well, I just bring it up because what Arkansas does really well, they get those dribble handoffs, they get DJ Wagner going downhill, they get Nelly Davis going downhill, they get Billy Richmond going downhill, they get Boogie Fland now going downhill. And when that happens, three things happen. They either get to the rim and finish, they either get to the rim and get fouled, or they get to the rim and miss, and you have Jonas Adu and Trevin Brazil down there getting offensive rebounds. And so to me, listen, this is a matchup-based tournament. And I'm not ready to sit here at 12:22 Eastern time on Friday and say, Arkansas is definitely pulling off the upset. But what I will say is styles make fights. And when you look at this style, I think this is a style that stylistically, I don't know if it's advantage Arkansas, but I think it's actually a good matchup for them. Again, St. John's wants to beat you up. They want to be physical, a bunch of grown men. Well, first of all, we saw it on Thursday night. DJ Wagner, Jonas Adu, Nelly Davis, multiple year college players. It wasn't the freshmen that took over. This isn't the vintage Calipari, a bunch of freshmen. It's third, fourth, fifth, sixth year college players making plays and being difference makers. Trevin Brazil, what is he, a fourth year college player, fifth year college player, whatever he is? And so I really do like the matchup. I really do think it's kind of interesting. And I really do think Arkansas can pull off the upset. Listen, they have played as well as I think just about anybody since February 1st. Listen, they gave Auburn fits at Auburn. They gave Alabama fits. They obviously beat Kentucky at Rupp Arena. They beat Vandy on the road. They beat Mississippi State. This team is playing, I believe, about as well as anybody. There are things to shore up. Oh, by the way, the other good thing, I don't think Rick Pitino is going to throw his own at him. Rick Pitino has dudes to play man-to-man, and they are the best defensive team that anyone has seen, the best team in college basketball all season. He's not going to change up what has gotten him to this point. I think it's advantage Arkansas, though. So this is going to be a fascinating matchup. I am so excited to see how it all plays out. And I really am excited to see if Arkansas can potentially pull off the upset.